Carter and Corey. We are your co-hosts.
My name is Carter Lane. This is Corey Ross.
We're a rock band, but we like to talk about all kinds of music.
Sonically, they're much, much different.
I think I'm going to give this album 5 volts.
Hello, girls and boys.
Welcome to the Voltecast.
Is it called the Voltecast?
With your hosts, Carter Lane, do you think what we said is bullshit? And Corey Ross.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship.
Talking about and reviewing all sorts of different albums.
Oh, it sucked. All right, should we give this a go?
What the fuck? What else are we going to do?
Well, shit.
Yeah. Hey.
What's up there, buddy?
Back in the saddle again.
Dude, what the fuck are we doing on Zoom?
I don't know, man. This is fucking 2020 COVID bullshit.
Yeah, but it's not 2020 anymore. It's 2021.
Yeah, but it's old shit. We need that new 2021 COVID. That's where everybody gets better.
Is the what? It's 2021?
2021 COVID.
Oh, yeah. It's less COVID-y than the first COVID.
Right. Exactly.
Actually, not everyone's saying it's worse COVID now. I don't really know anymore.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
We're not here to talk about COVID. We're here to talk about music.
And today we're doing a new album.
Tickets to My Downfall is the album title, and it came out September 25th of 2020. So this is a brand new album. Most of you guys probably have heard of Machine Gun Kelly before because he's a rapper. But this is his first release as a pop rock star.
Yep.
And he teamed up with Travis Barker from Blink-182 and 3 or 4 other producers to do this album. And it was his first attempt at a pop rock fucking album. And man.
Yeah, so I was looking into how this connection with Travis Barker came about as in regards to this album. And I was seeing that like his 4th album that he did, which was Hotel Diablo, ended with the track called I Think I'm Okay, which was kind of like a rock sort of collaboration with Youngblood and Travis Barker. And it did so well that Machine Gun Kelly wanted to work with Barker again, so he booked a session. And I guess it went really well, and that was the session that ended up, they started writing Bloody Valentine, which is one of the tracks on this album.
Yeah, that one was the first single that came out too.
Right. And, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been a fan of Youngblood for a couple years now, and just seeing the fan base that he's built based on this kind of new wave, like pop punk style and attitude has been really fucking cool to see and see them doing it in their own way, but also like kind of paying tribute to the people who have been there before. And also like, I don't know, man, it's just really cool to see. It's cool to see that instruments again becoming popular with younger folks.
Yeah. And, you know, it's always a little nerve-wracking sometimes when somebody kind of switches genres or, you know, branches out from what they are more accustomed to.
Totally. It's cool these days though, because they can release singles and kind of test the waters. And right. I think that's what he kind of did was, you know, released one and said like, what's the response going to be to this? And of course it was like really overwhelmingly positive. And so I think he, you know, that probably gave him encouragement to continue on pursuing that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a 180 from where he was before. I never really listened to MGK before. I heard a couple things and didn't really like them at all. Mm-hmm. So that's the perspective that I have coming into this is like, I don't really know the dude or his music. And I just heard a couple of things and I heard Youngblood was on one of the songs. And so that got me interested in it. And I started listening from there, you know? So I don't really have any preconceived ideas about what he should or should do with this album, which is, I think cool.
Yeah, I mean, kind of similar situation for me. I haven't listened to a lot of MGK before this, but it's not really because I heard something and didn't like it. Maybe I think it's just because I sort of live in my bubble of rock, punk rock. But I am going to be interested to go back and listen to more of his, other albums just to kind of see how that switch was made or what that difference is. But, and there's a lot of cool features on this album too, which is pretty awesome. You got Burt McCracken from The Used, which I know you're a fan of them.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Halsey. That's a dope song that she does on there. Black Bear, Goody Grace, Trippie Redd, Young Thug, and Young Blood.
And they just released maybe this weekend, Friday or something. They released like a mini movie that goes along. I think maybe it has a few of the songs of the album into it. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks pretty cool.
I haven't either. I didn't even know about that till you told me, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Look it up. So yeah, it debuted at number 1.
Yeah.
On the U.S. Billboard 200 charts, and that's the highest of his career, and tripled his second best album. So this is his best album by far.
Yeah,
in terms of numbers, right?
It shows maybe he should be a punk rocker.
Well, I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is now, right?
You know what also made me want to check him out a little bit is he was doing these live sessions where he was covering different songs and stuff, similar to the Post Malone Nirvana cover that they did. Mm-hmm. And he's fucking good, man. Yeah. He's a good singer, songwriter, musician kind of guy. So anyways.
Yeah, honestly, he's actually just a really good entertainer in general. He's actually a pretty good actor and pretty good comedian, it's does a lot of improv and stuff. So, it's kind of cool to see him do all these things, but but to the album, so they released it standard edition. Then I think it was less than a week later, they released the deluxe edition, which gave an extra, 5 tracks or something like that.
And that's the one I believe that we are listening to. Yeah.
Yeah. The deluxe, yeah.
Take Us to My Downfall, sold out deluxe version, which has 21 songs on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you want to start?
Yeah. This is a pretty good fucking album. We already kind of were saying that before. I was a little surprised. Like I said, I'm a little hesitant when it comes to people switching genres. I love to see people branch out and do different genres. So it's not like an anti, try different things kind of mentality. It's more of just, I've seen it go badly.
Yeah.
And this wasn't the case with this album. Man, and I was kind of going through it, and immediately when I listened to an album, when we're reviewing, I'm thinking, okay, what are my favorite songs? What are my least favorite songs? I really had a hard time deciphering that or really making that split. I've got some songs that I like more than others, but it's not like with other albums we listen to. I sometimes you hear that one track and you go, oh, that's my least favorite song. Right away. Didn't really have that with this album, which is always a good sign. It makes it easier to go back and listen through to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think, as far as the entire character of the album, I love that there's just kind of a theme throughout it. There's little tidbits in between songs. I'm a huge fan of that. I think that art's kind of been lost. Over time, I think that used to be more of a thing in the past where you're kind of putting little things in between songs, whether it's just talking and stuff like that, or whether it's musical instrumental bits that's tying the entire album together. And I think that they did that really well with this album. I think that they added in a little bit of laughter, a little bit of comedy, and a little bit of seriousness as well. But, at the end of the day, it's a pop punk album. It's supposed to be a feel good thing. It's about getting your heart broken and stomped on and coming back and loving again and going out and partying with your friends all night long. And I think that they accomplished that well, is with this. That's kind of my general jump at it. I want to hear some things you have to say so we can pin back and forth off of each other. But yeah.
I also thought that it was a really, really good album. I agree with mostly everything that you're saying. I think that he's a great performer, and I think that this, to me, is a really good piece of art as a whole. right? Like you were saying, like it's really hard to pick just one song to like go to. I definitely have a couple like favorites, but it's one of those ones that I can turn on and just listen to the whole album. Like I never really skip anything. I don't like skip songs. I just can listen to any of it. And I really like it. I really like the theme of the entire thing. I think that like musically, it's fucking killer. Like I really like something that I can listen to and be like, I couldn't have done that better. Like a lot of things, especially in other genres, I listen to them and I'm like, I could have created that, or I could have created that better. Mm-hmm. And I listen to this, and especially his lyrics and the way that the songs are written and stuff, and I'm pretty fucking impressed, you know? Like I'm just like, holy shit, those are fucking excellent, great written songs, like all over, you know, as a whole and like individually, they all have like a really good quality to them. Music wise and with the lyrics, I'm in love with all of the lyrics. Like I think he did a great job. I think he's a really good lyricist. Mm-hmm. And his voice is not terrific, but it's just what it needs to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's right for the style, you know.
Dude, it kills it. And I like the variety that comes in with his different guests that he has. And it's not too much. And there's also one song on here. I think it's the one with Black Bear, My Ex's Best Friend. It's number 11. And it's not necessarily a pop punk song, but it definitely fits into the album and it sounds cohesive with the rest of the songs, which I totally appreciate. And it actually took me a couple listens to be like, oh, whoa, there's no fucking drums on this song. Like, you know, there's a drum track, but it's not real drums, you know? Right. So I thought that was cool too. And then mixing it up and throwing in those live elements of, you know, when you can hear him either before or after the song kind of talking into the mic while they're recording or whatever, you know, those little things I enjoy. It helps it become more of a punk kind of live style album. I like the interlude that he does with his friend when they're on the phone for a second. That's the only thing I really skip now just because I've heard it so many times. I like skip that, but and I like when he's sitting there with his girlfriend or whatever and they're talking, like that stuff adds to the like theatrics of the album for me, which again I think are fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on one thing that you were saying as far as like all these features go, I think that's one kind of crossover I've seen from you know, maybe more of like a hip hop style with hip hop albums, rap albums. There's usually, it can be a thing that you have a lot of features, right? That's generally not like, you know, maybe a song here or there you have a feature, but it's generally not a practice and maybe rock or punk rock or anything that you have like a lot of features throughout an album. So I think he kind of brought that over from what he was doing before as far as like, as it pertains to rap. And, you know, I love it. Like I would love to see more pop punk albums do that, you know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of those features, I mean, they add a lot to the album. I think they put a lot of work and a lot of thought into this album. And I thought that the contributions, whether it was from the producers, in particular Travis Barker, and I want to talk specifically about that, but you know, to all the other people that were on these songs, I mean, it adds a lot more to the album that you wouldn't be able to get if it was just him.
Right.
So
Yeah, totally. And I wondered that too. I wondered if he had written all the guitar parts or the music or just what, but it really sounds like a collaborative effort with him as kind of the lead along with Barker. Mm-hmm. And I think he played guitar on like several of the songs. I mean, he wrote all the lyrics and, you know, it's pretty fantastic. Yeah. I'm pretty impressed that a person can have so much success and like I think as a rapper, he's pretty high quality. I think he's looked up to as a rapper, and to be able to switch that and do it so well is really impressive. Like what a talent, you know, this guy has. It's super cool. I'd say like a few of my favorite songs, if we can get into that, would be, I like the song number 3. It's called Drunk Face.
I love that song.
3, 4, and 5, like those 3 songs right there are just fantastic. I absolutely love those. I'm really, really, really loving these like really short, fast punk songs. and that is number 8 is World War III. It's called.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, it totally reminds me of the last Blink-182 album a lot. And especially with that song, because there's a Blink-182 song in their last album that's really short and it's very similar. It's not like the same, but it's similar enough to have it remind me of that, you know? Mm-hmm. So that was one thing I was like, well, it's got Blink-182 written all over it.
Yeah.
And of course, that's from Travis Barker.
I was going to say, and we know why. You know, I mean, it's funny you say that because with the first listen through, I thought, oh, it's like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182. If you remember that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first thought that came to my head. Because there's some songs that just sound really, really similar to what's on that album.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times when I hear that, you know, sometimes my first thought is, well, you're not really being that creative. But I don't feel that way with this album. I mean, I really feel like it's his, you know?
Right.
But yeah, to get on like Travis Barker specifically, I mean, he's had to have added it probably wouldn't have been nearly the same without him, let alone obviously the drumming. Like, I mean, he's one of the best freaking drummers out there. But like him producing and stuff like that, he probably, you know, brought a lot of that style into the album.
Totally.
That wouldn't be there otherwise.
Yeah, on the album's liner notes, it says that Travis Barker did drums on all the tracks, keyboards on number 1, piano on 4 songs, guitar on one of the songs, drum programming on 2, synthesizers on 2 songs, bass on 2 songs, programming on another song. So he had his hands all over it.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder too, like on a side note, I wonder how much influence he has in Blink-182's music. I wonder if he's a strong producer of Blink-182's music, you know?
I mean, I'm sure he could be, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It sounds like it. I just never thought of him as that, right? Before?
Yeah.
We thought of him as just the drummer or whatever, but he probably produces a lot of their music too.
I think he probably has more influence on that band today than he did like when he first joined the band.
Sure.
You know?
Right. But then you think about it, there is only 3 of them. So chances are he has a lot more to do with it than not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could cut a song,
I don't know, dude.
what would you cut?
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, as far as, you know, the only song that I listened to and wasn't immediately like, oh, this is amazing, is Split a Pill.
Oh, I was going to say the same exact thing.
Really? That's awesome.
I was just waiting for you to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
perfect.
one, cut that one and you're good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good song, but it's, you know, I wasn't like, oh, I want to hear that again.
So that is a really good example of what the whole album could have been, right? It was kind of this like B-side, like mediocre punk rock attempt. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like that song kind of is, you know? It's repetitive. Mm-hmm. It's not clever enough. It's like kind of, you're trying a little bit too hard. This could have easily been an album full of those songs.
Right.
But it wasn't. And that's really cool. There's like one of them, you know, where I felt that. And even so, it's like, it's doable. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't really skip it, but I could probably do without it.
Right.
So that's super funny you picked that song.
Like on another album, that could have been one of the better songs. Like, you know, so it's a good song, but
yeah.
Yeah, dude, but I agree. Drunk Face is awesome. Forget Me Too is definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. I kept rocking that one out over and over again. Yeah. I think Lonely is awesome. Nothing Inside, and then Play This When I'm Gone is one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And it shows the variety of him too, right? He doesn't just write like the one style. It's a very like, it has a lot of variety in it.
Right. I agree.
So amazing. Yeah. I think overall it's fantastic and it's like a super good, well-written album. And I enjoy the other version of it, which is the regular version, not the deluxe, would end with
Play This When I'm Gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 15.
Which is a great album ender.
Yeah, which is fantastic. But one of my favorite songs also is Body Bag with Burt McCracken from The Used and Youngblood. So,
were you reading that they had to get permission from Fall Out Boy for that song?
Yeah.
Because it sounds too similar to Dance Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really listened to Fall Out Boy too much.
So I remember that song from back in the day, and I was like, oh, I need to listen to this to check it out. And, you know, it's like, it's so interesting how copywriting works, because I listen to the songs and I go, okay, it's pretty much the same chord progression in the beginning. And what really gets it is the same chord progression and the same beat. And, you know, that's probably where they had to get permissions were for those two reasons. But it's not like the songs are really similar, you know? I mean, there's a lot of similar beats, you know, and a ton of other songs, and you can't copyright chord progressions. You can only copyright, I think, melodic phrases. You know, so it was kind of, I don't know. I was like, really? They had to get permission for this? It's like, what the fuck is this bullshit? You know, just let them do the song.
Yeah.
But I mean, they gave him permission, which is cool.
Cool
so
that they gave him permission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not our song.
Yeah.
You can have it.
But yeah, no, I liked Body Bag. That was a banger. Yeah, it's high energy. Like the entire thing is high energy. You know, with the exception of like a couple chill songs, but you know, really a lot of where they break up that energy, a lot comes in those interludes and comes through that theme and the character that they put in throughout the album. You know, which is with an album that it has this many tracks and is that high energy the entire time, like you need that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You need that in there to sort of break it up. And it's kind of like when you go to a live concert, you know, like, the vocalists or whatever, like talking in between the songs, and you're kind of like, okay, we just rocked the fuck out for like 3 songs in a row. And then,
take a breath for a second.
Yeah. And the singer's like, holy shit, like, how's it going out there? And, I kind of got that vibe from how they broke up the tracks on this album.
Yeah. Yeah, really well done. And like I said before, it's like this real cinematic kind of way that they did it with, which I really enjoy, being somebody who likes to listen to an album as a whole. Mm-hmm. The tracks stand out alone by themselves. I totally think they do. But I think you get a treat if you listen to the whole thing and see it as one piece of art.
Well,
really
and
cool.
Right. And it goes to show that, like, you know, albums are still cool as far as in their entirety, you know.
Yeah.
We've kind of
totally
gotten into the age in the past, you know, 10 plus years or so that it's really leaned towards just kind of singles.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of it. I mean, it always has been. But, you know, it's not like like none of us here are like the traditionalists, you know, where it's like, oh, like remember the good old days when you get like a vinyl record and it's just not the same, you know. It's like, it's not like a paperback book. It's like, dude, nobody fucking cares, you know what I mean? We all got like our phones where we're listening to everything now. So the motivation to listen to a full length album has to come from the quality of the album itself. It doesn't have to be something that's forced. You go to the record store and you go and buy something. Like if it's good, if they're telling you a story and it's intriguing enough that they're going to pull you in, that is the most important thing. And he absolutely pulls it off with this album.
Yep, I agree totally. Yeah, I think it's great. So how many volts would you give it?
Ooh, boy. 4 volts. It's good, man. Woo. It's really good. But like I said, I think I said this on the first episode, I'm reserving that 5.
Yeah? We wonder, what's that going to be?
I don't know yet. I actually don't know. But I just feel like that's really tough to get to. But yeah, 4 volts, really, really solid. You know, again, just great. I mean, the instruments are great. Travis Barker fucking kills it. The features are awesome. And yeah, all around just really good.
Right on. Yeah, I'm with you. I give it a 4 as well. I think just as a whole, it's amazing, and it's been stuck in my head, in my car, everywhere I go. My kids are listening to it. It's great. You know, I can't get enough of it, really. Mm. And so, yeah, I totally applaud the dude. I think he's so brave and so cool for reaching out and doing different things and keeping himself relevant and doing it in such an amazing way. So hats off. It's an awesome album, dude.
Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So should we cover one of these songs?
Yes, definitely. We'll have to figure out which one we want to cover, but I definitely want to do one. We should do one live too.
Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, well, I'm down.
Next time we play a concert.
I'm down. You got any ideas?
For which one to do?
Yeah. Let's decide. Let's decide on the podcast, man, so the people can hear.
We should do. I'd love to do World War III. It's only how long?
Super
1
short,
minute?
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a minute and a half.
World War III. I can't even say World War III. There's a Coreyism for you. World War III.
World War III.
That would be hella fun. I was also thinking an acoustic version of Play This When I'm Gone would be, I mean, I guess it's already an acoustic version, but us doing acoustic on that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be rad. Yeah. I think if we were to do it live, I think like Drunk Face or even like Kiss Kiss #2 song would be rad.
Okay, maybe we'll have to decide.
Yeah,
off the podcast.
we'll have to talk about this some more.
We'll just cover the entire album. We'll just do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in and listening and or watching. And if you would like to check out this album, you definitely should. And let us know what you think in the comments section, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. How many volts would you give it on a scale of 1 to 5? We want to know. We want to hear from you. So let us know. And stay tuned. We will be back with another episode, with another album, talking about rock music. My name is Carter Lane, and that guy over there is Corey Ross. And this is the Voltecast. Thanks for tuning in.